Bad Bunny.
Damn, we back.
Back
We
like I never
back.
left. Hold on. And we back. What J. Cole's and we back.
Nah, that's Chance the Rapper. Put some respect on his name. This is
No? What's
episode,
that? Go
and
ahead,
we
go ahead.
back, and we back, and we back, and we yeah, it is. That's coloring book.
But that's also on everybody dies when he says, and we back. And he on the bus and shit. Go listen
J.
to it.
Cole
All
biting Chance the Rapper style. That's crazy.
right.
This is episode 121 of the Rhythm and Rise podcast. I'm your host, AJ Hughes. I'm here with my co-host Antonio Hughes. And I wanted to talk about 2016 and 2026 this year. Because I don't know what it is. I ain't even thinking about what's going on in the world, what's going on in life. But like my energy has been feeling like everybody been posting those 2016 pictures. And for some reason, I'm feeling like this finna be a 2016 year. I don't know how you feel. That's how I feel.
I think based off some of the music we've already got, it could definitely be that way. Like obviously we got Cole this year. We got LMA already. We do got some bigger artists dropping. I'm expecting Drake to drop either Iceman or a different project at some point. Don Toliver just did 100 and almost 50K. Like there's some good albums coming out. So musically I could definitely see where you're coming from.
I feel like I was listening to the J. Cole album, and we'll get into that in a bit. But that was the first album I've heard in a while, rap wise. There's been a couple, but like I remember 2015, 2016 when a rap album came out, you was spinning it, you was running it back. You know what I'm saying? For the purpose of this pod, we'll listen to the album multiple times, like over the course of a period of time. But I will get to the end of the album and just go back to the beginning. I don't do that with a lot of projects. It's very few projects where I go back and be like, nah, I gotta hear what he was picking up. And I went back to look at 2016 and what came out. Bro, The Life of Pablo came out. Views came out. Blonde by Frank Ocean. The Sun's Tirade by Isaiah Rashad. Shout out to Nil, he put me on that. Lil Uzi vs. The World came out. Savage Mode came out by 21 Savage. Awaken My Love, Childish Gambino. Anti by Rihanna. Lemonade by Beyonce. And Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. I think that's a crazy year. And the year before that, To Pimp a Butterfly came out. And I just remember around that time what I was listening to, because that's right when I got my first car. That year was crazy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I feel like definitely seeing. I always forget Blonde is in there for some reason. I don't know why, but definitely that 21 album and that Lil Uzi album that changed a lot for me rap wise.
It
Like of course I
did.
was listening to rap before, but I remember the project before Lil Uzi versus the World. That one I remember the first time I heard that. Literally, I think I've told this story before. Literally, bro. Like 11 a.m. Right.
Do you?
Oh goddamn.
I don't think a classic album in our generation is the same as like a classic album prior. I feel like, for lack of a better term, like the big three, when they came out, because they were from pre-streaming, it feels like they still were capable of like coming through with like a classic. But I feel like in the streaming era, because everything was more niche, it's harder to like give the classic stamp to stuff. But Lil Uzi vs. The World and Savage Mode to me were like, if you think about rap for the last 10 years, those two albums, a lot of children were born from them albums right there. You know what I'm saying? Those are cult classics at the very least.
Yeah, I think that 2016 era is comparable to like the mixtape era, honestly. I'm thinking like early when they selling mixtapes on the streets type era. Like you gonna hear different projects that people might call a cult classic or a street classic or one of those. I feel like Fab probably has some of those, Jadakiss probably has some of those, some of those just mixtapes that some like the core fans heard. And I feel like obviously
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
doesn't it? To me, that's what it kind of feels like. Like, I feel like there was a lot more of that, like you said, niching off into these different I think there was a lot of new sounds when it came to rap at that time, too. Like, you starting to get the Cardi trying some new stuff, and you get in the Ken Carsons and the Destroy Lonelys starting to come out of those people. Like, there was just a bunch of different, like you said, niches coming into hip hop, and it just made for a really interesting time. But it was also kind of like now, how we have all this AI music coming in. We're just getting a flood, like, and had never got that much music in our lives, really, honestly, just at one time. And Spotify was that new
Yeah,
technology. Apple Music was that new technology. Now it's AI. So
I have so many thoughts. First, first being I didn't to think to think that Frank Ocean and Rihanna have been gone the same amount of time. It don't feel the same for some
mm.
reason. And maybe that's just because Rihanna will pop up on a troll soundtrack or something like that. But if don't feel like that they were on the same, that they were going the same amount of time. One, two, the 2016 Double XL Freshman Class. I just read the list. I forgot. I knew if you were to show me the video, I would know, but I would have thought it was like 2015 or 2017 or something like that. It was 21 Savage, Lil Uzi Vert, Kodak Black, Lil Yachty, Denzel Curry, Designer, Anderson Paak, Dave East, G Herbo, and Lil Dicky. Um,
There's only two
Everybody
people.
on that list is stamped.
There's only two people on that list that are like kind of right now. Like, and they're not even
Who?
like Lil Dicky just rap wise because he went off and did TV. Like he found a completely different lane.
I
And
don't think
then
he intended to be a rapper ever.
but then my thing is, how did he end up on the double XL list? He released an album. I thought he was gonna keep releasing music. I didn't think he was just gonna stick with TV. And then he had that whole alias he was doing called Brain or whatever. I don't know if you ever heard that, but like he was doing some cool music stuff, and then he just stuck to TV.
I feel like he was like how a lot of these dudes now are like they're internet personalities. Like 6ix9ine is an internet personality. He's not a
Mm.
rapper. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Lil Dicky was that, where he was like, if you hear some of his interviews, his intention was never to become the best rapper. Like, bro, he did the yeah. Remember the Chris Brown song?
Mhm.
Where he was like, bro, that shit was crazy because it
What up,
was
my nigga? What's up,
what
my
up, my
nigga?
nigga? What up? Yo, that shit was hard. That shit was funny too. That was funny. Him
Hell
and
yeah.
then Anderson Paak ain't no rapper, so I don't know why he's on the double XL list. Um, and then designer, yo, Panda came out in 2016. I also had the singles on here. One Dance, Work, Panda, Broccoli by Drum, and then Ojueleba by Wizkid, which is if you've been to a proper Afrobeats party, that's that. What song would I compare that to? That's they finito.
That's
That's
funny.
that's their finito, bro. You know how when finito used to come on, everybody get hyped. That's the one. I remember the first time I heard that song. I was in Madison Square Garden in New York on a 300 level. You know what I'm saying? Because I was broke, and everybody got up in every seat and danced to that song. I was surprised. I was bewildered, and I was kind of mad. I had never heard the song before.
Yeah, but like we was talking about, some of those cult classics came out of 2016. Some of those fan base classics came out of 2016, bro.
And I think we're gonna have some projects this year. Before we get into the fall off, I think Kendrick about to drop. You saw all the photos. I sent it to you to put into
Mhm.
the pod. But you saw the photos of him like accepting the awards and like the knuckle raps and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it. I watched a little bit of the Grammys, like the recap and stuff.
What do you? I had an initial thought, but did you have any thoughts when you saw it?
What he was wearing? I think it was obviously kind of signifying something about like fighting or doing something like that. But then I
Kung
also
Fu
had
Kenny.
seen, yeah, that, and then I had also seen um I don't know if uh it wasn't Dave Free. It was, I think it might have been his producer posted something about some boxer. So I
Soundwave.
think it,
Yeah.
yeah, Soundwave. Yeah. But I think he just coming back out the fight, bro. Like, and the thing is, after, and like I said, we're gonna talk about the fall off, but like after hearing the fall off, it's obvious that he can only be really, if you still trying to fight, you only come here for one person. And otherwise it's just like, yo, I'm back outside. Like, and I think we're gonna get one of those more so classic albums instead of like, even though GNX is a good album, I feel like that was him just kind of getting his shit off, having fun. It wasn't like a Damn, or it wasn't like a Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers, To Pimp a Butterfly. It wasn't like those projects where they were almost their own world. It just felt like, he's making hyphy music. So I'm excited.
Have they all dropped in the same year before?
I don't think so,
I'm about to
but
look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so because I know, like you said, the Pimp a Butterfly was 2015, Views was 2016. I'm pretty sure For Your Eyes
Forest Hill
Only.
Drive was 2014,
Yeah, and
wasn't
then
it?
For Your Eyes Only, I think that was 2016. I think I might be wrong. Might have been 2018.
Oh, so in 20 okay, so 2011, Drake
Mhm.
dropped Take Care, J. Cole dropped Cold World, The Sideline Story, and Kendrick dropped Section 80. Uh,
Drake had that one. Drake had that one. I can't lie.
okay, so 2015, Drake drops If You're Reading This Is Too Late.
Hmm.
Kendrick drops The Pip a Butterfly. J.
Yep.
Cole dropped Forest Hills Drive in December 2014. And we talked about that on here. Like, if it dropped in December, it's basically the next year,
Hmm.
essentially. Um, I don't count this one. It said 2018, Drake dropped Scorpion, J. Cole dropped KOD, and then Kendrick Lamar dropped the Black Panther album. So they've never dropped. I mean, he executive produced it.
Nigga, he got one song on that album. He and that bitch.
If I
Big
if I
shots.
executive if I executive produce it and it's that song and I got everybody on there, I dropped that year. They never dropped solo albums in the same year post 2018. Interesting. This year, I feel like it might happen. I feel like we might get all three of them this year.
I hope so. Shit. Kodak
I
being
mean,
home.
Drake's definitely dropping, but uh now we just waiting. Kendrick is dropping. Kendrick it's happening this year. Yo, Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole are all dropping in 2026. You heard
We're
it here
gonna,
first.
yeah, we're gonna make that your prediction of
Inside
the year.
source. Inside source. Let's get into the fall off, bro. The fall off came out crazy. What was it? 24 songs.
Hmm.
What were your initial thoughts on the fall off by J. Cole, man?
Um, I did like this project. I thought it was very since we were talking about For Your Eyes Only, that For Your Eyes Only album is very comparable to this as far as vibe. It was a little bit slower. I did feel like some of the concepts on here were really cool. I think the one that I like, the song that stopped me was Boone's Road Blues with Future and Thames. I don't know. I wasn't expecting Future to come on there. It's 7 o'clock. Oh, that was hard. I don't know why that was hard right there, but that was hard. And I just thought this project was overall pretty solid. I did want to hear him more so like really jabbing at niggas specifically, but I knew he wasn't gonna do that, so it's okay. And I think the other thing that I've realized in this is that I don't like J. Cole trying to do melodies. I
You don't
like
like J. Cole with the melodies. You like
I
them when he's acting tough.
I prefer when he's acting tough. I don't I even Fever on the other project, like Might Delete Later, I was like, this is
You don't
cool,
like that
but
song?
I think it's cool, but it's like I don't want to hear J. Cole doing this for some reason. Like I'm cool with the actual title track For Your Eyes Only. That song, he has some in there where he's kind of like doing a little bit of melodies and stuff like that. But I felt like I'm trying to think of one where I was like, like I was just like, why is he singing here? Um,
I
like
didn't like the let out. I didn't like after drum and bass. I didn't really need the last three.
mm,
I didn't really need the last three on there. Um, but while you're finding that song, my thoughts were hearing hearing the direction he went in on this album. I feel like, and people might not feel this way, but I do. Knowing the concept of the actual project, right? We've known the concept of the project for years. And so to know the concept of the project, to know he's been working on his music for years, and then for the beef, like the Drake Kendrick beef to pop up at the time that it did, right? I think I think he went too conceptual, or let me not say he went too conceptual. He leaned in too heavy to the concept of the project because he didn't have to do that. But I feel like that stuff all started and then he realized like, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but like if the concept is rappers, people tell them they fall off and then it's over with. And he's essentially igniting the fall off with his own album. He's saying, hey, yo, this is the last one. This is the fall off. Like, what better way to make yourself fall off to the public than to go up on stage and apologize to the big three? You know? And I feel like that and then the album coming out, I feel like it marries and it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the actual music, I personally um I think I don't like a ton of because he doesn't put a ton of features on his album, his hooks do get kind of boring to me. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? At a certain point. So like towards the second half of the album, I don't mind J. Cole singing or attempting to sing, but it's like because he doesn't have a ton of other voices to break it up on this project, um, it kind of like he kind of loses me at a certain point. What did you think of the before I get into the first half of the project, what did you think of What If?
That was the song where he was doing the Pac and Big thing, right? I thought that was pretty solid. I don't ever like the whole I like even when Kendrick did it, I thought Kendrick did
That
it
was hard.
hard. I thought that
Yeah.
song was hard. I just this one I was like cool. Like it's cool. Like I can go listen to Hit 'Em Up if I want to go listen to
Wait,
Tupac.
are you talking about Reincarnated or are you talking about Mortal Man?
Reincarnated. Mortal Man,
Re-
Mortal Man, I'd like Mortal Man. I think that's hard.
I like Mortal Man too. That's where he did the Pac thing. But on Reincarnated, he tried to sound like Pac, but he didn't do it from the perspective of Pac. So that's what made it different to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when artists try and do the direct, oh, I'm trying to be this or give you that perspective. You know what I'm saying? I will say
Yeah.
on this project, the verse where I knew who he was trying to rap like, um, the first half of was it the first half of Who the Fuck Is You? He's trying to rap like Eminem, bro.
You think so?
100%. You know what song is that? Hi kids, do you like
Mhm.
violence? Want to stick 9-inch nails in each one of my eye?
That's my
He's
name
got a
is, yeah.
rhyme. My name is. He's got a rhyme
Yeah.
scheme in there in the first half where it's like nobody else like that's where you see people who get to bending words and who like understand how things sound and stuff like that. That's what I love about Eminem from like somebody who just loves words and writing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And when I was listening to that, every time I hear that little rhyme scheme, I'm like, that sound like Eminem. So I like when they do it in that capacity where it's like you're only a real fan will hear it or know. But I don't like when you're trying to pretend to be somebody. Like when Drake did the AI shit, I don't like that.
Yeah. I just think that shit is corny. Like I don't need that. I'm like I said, I'd rather just go listen to Biggie or listen to Tupac. I don't need to listen to
Mhm.
you be Biggie or Tupac. Be J. Cole.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like
Right. And after, I usually try not to listen to other podcasts talk about music before I go listen to the music and make up my own mind. But there were a couple pods talking about like how he sounded bored on the second half. And I will say why I don't know if bored would be the word that I would use. It definitely felt like
here,
it's
damn.
not here damn. It felt like there isn't a ton inspiring me to go out here and rap y'all head off.
I
You
can see
know,
that. I
there's
can
not a ton of that. And I don't know. I think some of this album just don't make sense to me. I know, you know what didn't make sense to me before the album?
what?
When Burna Boy got J. Cole on his album. That made no sense to me. Cause personally, I don't like J. Cole. I think I don't like the song. I really don't. Like, I love the intro of that song because it caps off the album perfectly. But to me, now knowing that Burna Boy is on this album, I know what happened. J. Cole went to him and was like, bro, I need you on this to do XYZ. And Burna Boy was like, all right, we can do verse for verse. And I feel like Burna Boy was just like, yo, niggas, I got a J. Cole verse. Fuck you just throw it on this bitch. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like, you know? But
Yeah,
I
what?
love the because if you bro, I went back after I heard Burna Boy on this, I went back and listened to the other song and I was like, bro, J. Cole, he tried his best, but the beat was not a J. Cole beat. It was
Yeah.
not a J. Cole beat. And what makes me even more mad is if you listen to All right, now I'm going down a rabbit hole. But if you listen to Burna Boy's oldest music,
Oh
bros,
yeah, that song was bad.
it's just rap. It's just no. It's just hip hop rap. It's just hip hop and rap. So to put him on an Afro Beats esque record, it's like, why are you putting J. Cole on an Afro Beats record? Bro, you go listen to his old stuff, bro. He just sound he sound like a Jamaican. He sound like a Jamaican over like boom bap stuff. And so like to put him on that beat, it kind of made me mad. But I will say Only You with Burna Boy is one of my favorite songs on the project. Burna Boy's voice is so dope, bro. His voice is so cool.
Yeah, that song was solid. I think my favorite, where'd the album go?
Oh, okay. Tell me your favorite, but did you like the first? You like the first half or the second half better? I feel like I know, but
First half. The second half
yeah,
was a little dry, like you said. It could definitely have used some like a pickup or like some features. Like I understand the whole no features thing, but for some reason this time I was like I would have liked to hear him kind of being with some other people. Like of course, in years past, like he didn't do that, and we've gotten all this big feature run. But I still think he pairs well when he like bounces ideas off other people and does stuff with other people. The song with 21 is one of his biggest songs ever for a reason. The song with Drake is one of his biggest songs ever for a reason. Like those are two songs where you could clearly see I'm with this person, and that made me go a little bit harder, in my opinion. But I
I don't.
think, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised at the list of features he went with for his quote unquote last project. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I'll get into if you think it's his last project in a second. But I'm surprised he went Future Thames, PJ, Erica Badu, PD Pablo, Burna Boy, and Maury. You know who I thought Maury was? I know Maury because he did that one song for him on the off season. I thought it was Jacquees the first time I heard it. I keep sidetracking because I had so many thoughts about this. But what was your favorite song on the project?
I think it would be between Who the Fuck Is You and I don't know. I like The Village too with Erica. Like I love that song. That song was hard.
That's a good song. I would say, and I would say my favorite song is either Poor Thing or Who
Safety.
the Fuck Is You. I also think something that people haven't talked about is the super sample heavy stuff in on the first half on the 29 on disc one.
Mhm.
I feel like the point of that was to the older beats bring you back. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like him picking these old, like classic beats to sample, it was like, oh, he's like trying to make you feel like it's old because he feels like it's old because it was so long ago. That's how I felt when I listened to it. Like that beat to me, what is that which beat is that? That's the
Oh, what? Run a Train or Poor
no,
Thing?
safety. What uh
I forgot to be honest. I don't know what
that's
he's saying.
what UNITY? That's not what I thought it was. But the beat, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know the sample. I'm gonna just be honest. I didn't know the sample. What I thought it was, that was not what it was. But that's how I felt about the first. I'm like, these beat sample choices feel super old and boom bapish. And I feel like maybe he was at 29, he was at his peak. You know what I'm saying? He was inspired by all these OG 90s, 2000s rappers. And so that was like, it felt like it restored the feeling of like 90s hip hop, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where it was just like, oh, this is you go back to that period. This is what I was on. That's how I felt when I listened to it. But Safety is a hard song, bro. Safety is
Yeah.
hard.
It didn't really surprise me because that 4 pack you dropped before the project was hard too. And I mean, that was him over the old beats. I actually gave that nigga $5 for that. You're welcome, Jermaine.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah, I bought it.
That's dope. That's dope. Shout out to
Yeah,
you.
I didn't realize I hadn't bought music in so long. I was like, I want to know what this feels like.
Yo, somebody brought I saw an
For real?
iPod the other day. Yes, and an iPhone 4.
Damn.
Right.
Nigga.
But I will say, so will you go back to songs on this project?
Yeah, I think like I said, Safety, the song with Future and Thames, even poor thing. Like I think there's a couple I'll go back onto here. I don't think it has much replay value straight through. Like I think it's hard to just for me personally
Yeah.
just straight through. I don't know, but overall, yeah, there's some songs on here I'll definitely go back to.
And do you think this is the last project we ever get from J. Cole?
No, I think this is the last like major project, but I think he still might put out music. I think if he does put it out, it's not gonna be like the marketing campaign he's doing now, like going to NCAT and passing out CDs and shit like that. He might just
Bro's
drop some shit.
bugging. I like that. I like
Yeah, that's
that.
fire. That's
I think
fire.
it's funny that, and we'll get into LaRussell a little bit in a little bit. I think it's funny LaRussell's at the Super Bowl and J. Cole is in the Honda Civic. I think that's
Yeah, that is
funny.
funny, bro.
And J. Cole is selling on Even. If you don't know, LaRussell owns a part of Even. So
I didn't know he was selling on even biz too. I thought he was just selling on
that's how you bought it.
oh shit.
That's how you bought the album. Do you? And the last question I'll ask: do we ever get "It's a Boy"?
No, yeah, probably.
Mike,
But I
Mike, Mike,
feel
Mike. Yeah.
like he said this in the 4 pack. He was like he was like I scrapped everything and started over. Like I think he scrapped a lot of stuff after that whole Kendrick and Drake beef and when he came out with My Delete Later. I feel like he's just scrapped a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff to the side. And um
So
hopefully
we
we get
don't
it.
get "It's a Boy." I don't think we get it, but because that was supposed to come out before the fall off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
think we get it. I will gladly welcome. You know what's great. I think a lot of people became J. Cole fans early on. And I think due to Tanya Harris, I was not a J. Cole fan early on. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
She only played 92.3. Occasionally we get some 107.5 in there if she was feeling good. You know what I'm saying? But on the J. Cole was Wet Dreams and No Role Models were getting 4 spins an hour. But those songs were getting played every hour on the hour. If we had to go anywhere, those songs were going to be on in the car. And I hated J.
Yeah.
Cole growing up. You know what I'm saying? And that was Forest Hills Drive. That was like the one. That
Hmm.
was like the one. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I feel like a lot of people who are J. Cole Hive were J. Cole prior to that, or they became J. Cole at Forest Hills Drive. And that's when I hated them. My favorite J. Cole music, I have having a new appreciation for Forest Hills Drive as an adult. But my J. Cole fandom started with if you're not if you're reading this, what's the one everybody
For
what's
your
the one
eyes
that came
only.
after that? For Your Eyes Only. That project for me was my favorite between that and the off season. I like them for different reasons, but
Dude.
that's probably my favorite project.
This is the last thing I'm going to say about it. When I heard the intro to this one, I paused it and I started thinking about that shit. That nigga came on. That's damn near a flawless album.
What?
Fucking the the one that you just said, I lost it.
Off season?
Yes, the off season. That's
Yeah.
damn near a flawless album. Like this nigga, this shit too easy for me now. I was that to start like that. Yeah, no. Can't compare. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah. No, the off season, my thing is to if you think of if we put this in basketball terms, because we'll get into basketball and then we'll get to other stuff. If you put this in basketball terms, it's like as a child, you kind of just hooping. And then as you grow up, you start to get better almost acquiesce to whatever system you in. And whatever you was hooping with 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 20, what you was doing at 21 at the gym after practice, you're not doing that in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you get better as time goes on. And when you become a vet, imagine if you had like that same energy as a child, but with all the skills of a vet. That's what offseason was. It was like he was trying to rap like it was a
Yeah.
sideline story, but he'd been rapping for 10 years. He had been rapping for 15 years after that. You know what I'm saying? That album is so crazy to me. Um, I love
Oh,
that album, but For Your Eyes Only, I feel like that album, storytelling wise, is flawless. I've only ever almost cried at one song, and it's the outro. It's the title track on that song. That song is so sad.
yeah.
That
That's
song,
a good song.
yeah, that song is so sad because you remember that song?
Yeah, bro. I played that song on my set. Go to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I want to get into basketball real quick.
Okay.
Um, Sharif Cooper is hooping, bro. Sharif
That
Cooper is
that is
hooping. He's on a two-way. I think Sharif Cooper might stick here. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's funny. I think it's funny that Sharif Cooper is now on Washington on a two-way because he was on Atlanta on a two-way behind Trey Young. And I was like, bro, he's the perfect guard to back up Trey Young. You know what I'm saying? Well, not all of the things. Trey Young plays mostly outside, three-pointers. He has a nice floater. Sharif Cooper was known for how atrocious his jump shot was growing up. It's gotten 100% better. He can hit threes now. You got to put a hand up. But he's one of the guards that you can't keep out the paint. He's balling out of control. He just had his career high in the league, 18 the other night. You know what I'm saying? He's going crazy. He had 37 in the G League. I just want to say because they sat Anthony Davis out for the year. Next year, Washington is somebody to mess with if Bambi Legs can play 60 games. If Bambi Legs can play 60 games,
don't
then
call
I
that.
think Washington is somebody you got to watch out for.
No, that definitely because the East has been suspect for at least 3-4 years now. To
No,
where
you think
a
so?
little bit to where it's like you don't know who's gonna be the top of this. I did not come into
Okay,
this
okay,
season
okay, okay.
thinking. You see what I mean? I did not come into this season thinking that the Detroit Pistons were about to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't think that. Now, you know what? I'll see y'all niggas in 7. You know what
Cade
I'm saying?
Cunningham is from the Monstars, bro. You know
Mhm.
when my basketball career ended, I hated that the era of guards coming in were all 6'6". You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I hated that shit because it's like, bro, you ever guarded somebody 6'6" for a full game?
Dude, that shit or like
Have
you
you?
got a nigga like Scotty Barnes coming down the court.
No,
Like
I'm
that shit
genuinely
is
asking you though. Have you guarded somebody 6'6" in a game?
yeah, I have before.
Bro, that
It's
shit is a
atrocious.
problem. Was he a guard?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guarded Io. That was that I would say
Oh,
that was the most fucked up. Like that was the day I realized I wasn't going to the league. I swear to God, that day that had to be 16U. That was 16U AAU, and bro, we was out there. Our biggest guy was 6'3". Our biggest guy was 6'3", and so it was like, you know those lineups where it was like, you just gotta guard the dude taller than you, but you gotta guard the smallest guy. Io was the smallest guy. That lineup was crazy. It was Io, it was Talon, NBA, former NBA player, now he's over in the Euro League. It was Khalil Whitney, and then who went to Kentucky, and then it was
Xavier Pinson.
Pinson was on the that's how crazy Pinson was on the B team. Pinson was 6'2" on the B team. He wasn't even on the A team. The other dude I was mentioning, I forget his name. I think his name was Bakari something, but he played at Texas A&M. That was 4 of the 5 in the starting lineup, bro. I remember the play, bro. The play where I was like, it's different. Io got the ball past half court, took one dribble, and did the shit where he I will never forget this, bro. Bro dribbled the ball, palmed the ball off the dribble, took 2 steps through the lane. Once he palmed it, I didn't even attempt to like guard him. I just got out the way. I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's a one-on-one fast break. Nigga 6'5". He palmed the ball off the dribble. I can't palm a ball. He palmed that bitch. I said, and then he dunked it because I got out the way. I was like, yeah, I ain't going to the league. I ain't going to
Nah.
the league, bro. I remember we got bust in that game so bad. But I will say, I knew some of the teams I played on was trash. For players to come up with me, it was like, hey, bro, you did a good. You know what I'm saying? It was genuine. I was like, all right, I attempted. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't stay in front of me. I couldn't stay in front of him, but he couldn't stay in front of me.
Nah, I think mine were the first time I played Bradley Beal Elite. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, no,
St.
it's
Louis
done.
was different. St. Louis
Dude,
was
they had
different.
them niggas were like those were like hungry niggas, bro. Like them niggas were trying to get out of whatever neighborhood they were in. It didn't matter which one. They were
They
all
were in the
bad.
deepest trench in America, bro. St. Louis is the
Dude,
deepest trench in America.
hell yeah. And then the other one, Matas. I got to play Matas in high school during
Oh,
COVID.
you played him? Bro, he's
Yeah,
a dog. He's actually a dog. He's
dude,
actually a dog.
ridiculous. And that
He's
was probably
actually a
his worst
dog.
game, and he had like 15. Like he was still killing us, bro.
Hey, I know we can't do nothing at this point, But 2040, Bulls owners, I'm on your head. I'm on your head. We can't do nothing now. Cause like when I was in high school and I found out the Bulls owner was like, yo, we're trying to make as much money as possible. And the amount of money you make from making the playoffs or being about a 9-10 team versus a number one team, it's not enough for me to go actually try and put a roster together. That's me paraphrasing. But he had a statement where he came out and said, bro, we're never trying to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, 2040, the plan 20 by 2033 or 34, 30, probably 2035, I go back, I buy the YMCA, right? I go buy the YMCA. I put together a basketball academy comparable to whatever the fuck Luka Doncic came into, and then I find the American Luka Doncic by 2030 by 2037. You know what I'm saying? And then I do my little Rick Brunson. I do my little Rick Brunson. You know what I'm saying? Get to the assistant coacher. You know what I'm saying? Get to
Nigga,
somewhere in the league where Rick Brunson, like, you know what I mean? Maybe it's my son. Maybe my son the next Luca. I don't know. And then I put together an investment group to buy the Bulls. It's
you know
coming.
what?
It's
I'm
coming.
here for
That if I was,
it.
you know how Gary Vee be like, I want to buy the Jets. I want to buy the Bulls.
Okay. No, and I mean Gary Vee is close, so you could get close, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, listen. I think I am glad the Bulls got Rob Dillingham. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna
But
be a good pickup
the
for
Bulls are
sure.
sick. The Bulls have the sickest roster in the NBA. The Bulls look like a 15U AAU team not on the circuit.
These niggas got traded for fucking Mike Conley. Like,
And
what
then
the
traded the Mike Conley trade was funny. I knew they went to bros like, hey, we just can't pay you. Because he's back on Minnesota. He's back on Minnesota on a
Wait, they
veteran's
sent him
minimum.
back to
You didn't
Minnesota?
know? No, no, no. So he got sent to Chicago, then he got sent to Charlotte, and then Charlotte cut him, and then he signed the veterans minimum in Minnesota. He went back.
That is sick as hell. That is sick as fuck, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
no,
sick.
I will say I think the dark horse. Here's my thing, and then we'll wrap up the basketball segment because this is not a basketball pod. The Giannis should have been traded. I don't know why they didn't trade him. Josh should have been traded. I don't know why they didn't trade him. But I think Cam Thomas to the Bucks is a sleeper.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter, Cam Thomas, Giannis, and whoever else you want to put on the court, it don't matter, bro. Cam Thomas, to me, I love when a real AAU hooper, they let him go brazy. Because I think it's absolutely absurd that Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. on the same on the wings. That's scary.
That's sick. And like
That's
Cam Thomas,
scary.
bro, Cam Thomas, to me at least, I remember the first Cam Thomas video you sent me. I remember watching him in high school. He isn't like, I don't think he's an AAU player. I feel like the way he plays is not very flashy. He's not trying to kill you, but he's gonna shoot from 40. Like this
Oh
nigga's gonna
yeah,
pull up
yeah,
from 40. His hezzy pull, he gonna do the same one dribble pull up. He been doing it since high school, but it
yeah.
works. Like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah, no, that's sick. Shout out Cam Thomas. I'm still trying to go to. We'll see, but the Pistons play the Magic on the first, and I want to see Paolo attempt to guard Cade.
I think that'll be a good game. You should go.
I do too. Yo, she's knitting me a hat with the Pistons logo on it.
That's hard.
No, TT's. I'm about to send them to you after this. TT's knitting. She's she goes crazy with the knitting. I didn't know. I was unaware of her game.
I knew about the pants, but I didn't know about that.
No, it's hard. I want to get into the Bad Bunny halftime show. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but obviously Bad Bunny performed at the halftime show. I watched it on a watch back because I didn't tune in at all. I didn't go nowhere for the game. What did you think about Bad Bunny's halftime performance?
I thought it was good. I think that one thing I had, at least a critique I had was I did kind of feel like some other people in the fact that he was kind of mumbling. Like I didn't feel
Yeah,
like he was
there was a couple
singing.
times.
Yeah, there was a couple times where he was definitely mumbling. I thought it was strange to bring up Lady Gaga, but it made sense to me because like white America's sweetheart, so we're gonna bring her up, you know.
Right.
But um that was that I feel like that was a pretty cool like interpolation. I think his set design was cool. I thought the set list was good as well. And you know, I'm not here to talk about none of the hate stuff. Like I understand some people wanted to see fucking Nickelback. I don't care. You know, I'm shake your hips, okay? All right. I told somebody who came into the bank today, yo, next time just shake your hips and don't even think about it. All right. Have a good day. You know?
Um, that was very nice of you because I'm here to rep for America.
Bro.
I'm here to rep for America. Listen, I've been a Bad Bunny fan. I've been outside when they shaking hips. You know what I'm saying? I love Bad Bunny. The songs I heard, I was in the crib. Hey, hey, hey. You know what I'm saying? I was in there doing that. But then I thought about where we were at. I thought about where we were at. And I'm not gonna lie, while it was a great performance, contextually, I would have preferred Nickelback.
I don't understand why.
What I'll say, bro, football is not how do I say this? There are American things that include black people. There are black things that aren't necessarily American, if that makes sense. But when it's American, it can be black or it can be white or it can, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like let me not get Trumpy on here. I'm not saying, yo, I don't want to hear nobody speak Spanish. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, it and this is the messed up part about what I'm about to say. Puerto Rico is America. So maybe I need to change my perspective and maybe it's like remind people this is part of America, you know? But when I think of America, when I think of football, I don't think okay, when I think of football, I don't think of Spanish people. And that's not a slight, that's not a hate cuz I love Spanish people. But at the, you know what I'm saying? At the football game, at you know what I'm saying, where they at, I might just be okay with some Nickelback. If this was at any other show, if this was at the World Cup, I'd be going crazy right now. You know?
Yeah. And while I agree with you on the fact that like, you know what, it might have not been for a lot of people and a lot of people were probably sitting there with their core fan base like, what the fuck is this? But it's like, how do you grow if you don't expand? Like I can
Fair.
guarantee you, not guarantee you, but Bad Bunny had a top 3 album of the year last year. He
He
had one
did.
of the most streamed albums last year, and
He
damn
has the
near
most watched halftime performance in of all time.
of
Of
all
all time.
time. He the last couple performers, we had people like we had The Weeknd come on, his was good. We had Shakira and Jennifer Lopez who also did music in Spanish. We had Maroon 5, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Coldplay, Katy Perry, Bruno Mars. We got all them people. We got everybody y'all wanted to get. Every single pop star. They're gonna bring Sabrina Carpenter. They're gonna bring Billie Eilish. Like are you gonna grab the biggest artist or are you just going let's just grab somebody else? They got Green Day too. They let Green Day perform beforehand. Green Day got 3 songs. All right. Green Day got 3 songs. If you wanted to see hey, Erica Kirk was up there. America at the Turning Point USA. I'm cool with the Bad Bunny. I don't really care. I thought the performance was cool. Do you care if I get into like the Sugarcane thing real quick so we can just like get through that?
Oh yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. I didn't know it was related to the halftime show, but do your thing. I was confused when you said that. Yeah. Explain to me.
Okay, so at the beginning of the halftime show, if you were paying attention, you saw Bad Bunny coming through fields. And a lot of people might have just been like, what is that? Like, what does that even mean? But those were actually supposed to represent sugarcane. And in the early 1900s, late 1800s, after the US took over Puerto Rico, they basically cleared out the island just to allow for them to build sugarcane refineries and factories and things like that on the land because the land was built out for it. One of the companies that came out of this into like the later 1900s, like 1970s, 1980s, y'all probably used Domino Sugar before. That was one of the companies that came out of this. The
Dang.
first Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro. Charles Herbert Allen, I want to read this directly. He was the first civilian U.S. governor of Puerto Rico. At After his term, he went onto Wall Street and became the head of the American Sugar Refining Company, the Sugar Trust. He used his political connections to ensure these companies got tax breaks and land rights while local workers stayed in poverty. So I just thought this was cool that he came on there, represented his culture, and also it's like again, the same old story. The US exploits somebody, calls it a floating island of shit, whatever they want to call it. But either way, they exploited, they went there and they took and they turned it into a culture that solely relied on sugarcane
Tourism.
because
Well, sugar
yeah,
came and then later tourism. That's
yeah, and then
crazy to
tourism.
think. You know what's crazy is like as you're saying that, um, David Ogilvy is my favorite advertiser of well of the current moment, right? Old British dude. He started advertising in newspapers and later direct mail and television, 1950s, 60s, 70s type shit.
Mhm.
Bro, his one of his biggest campaigns was in like I want to say like the 60s or the 70s, but it was increasing tourism to Puerto Rico. Like the reason Puerto Rico is such a hub right now for tourism and people go there is because of his advertising campaign. And initially it was based off of the tax incentives that business would get when they moved their factories and their business headquarters to Puerto Rico. Interesting enough. Uh, that's interesting though. I didn't know that that's what the sugar cane was supposed to be. I thought you was about to go somewhere else with that. That's crazy.
No, no, he and I didn't notice it at first, but then I started just thinking about the cultural aspect, and then when I went and did the research, it made a lot of sense because in that album from last year, he was talking a lot about these topics and he was talking about a lot of just the political stuff that has happened in Puerto Rico. He always has. And it really didn't surprise me that kind of like Kendrick, he called back to something specific that represented him and represented his culture and represented his people. So I just thought that was cool. I thought that was cool to see.
Next week, could you find some stuff from that album and like translate it for us?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Next
I
week,
can't
we're
do
gonna do
that.
that. Um LaRussell performed in the parking lot. LaRussell performed in the parking lot. I don't want to talk about his performance because I didn't watch it. What I do want to talk about is LaRussell signing to Roc Nation. Um, you saw this, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Um, and I know you said we don't like calling back to other podcasts. I think something that was really interesting listening to the Joe Budden podcast when they were talking about it was, yeah, it's like how far can you get? But to me, I don't know. I always think about like averages. Like the average American worker cannot make 11 grand from one project. And then if you also break that down to how much it costs to live, like a person making 11 grand, that might take some people like 3, 4, 5 months. So to me, I'm sitting here like, yo, you're being able to bring in a good enough income for yourself. And I just want to know what the terms of the deal were. Is it more like a Rust deal where you're just doing distribution
I
and
think that's
you're not?
exactly what it is.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If it's more like that, then it's like it makes a lot of sense. You're trying to get a little bit more of a push. Maybe you're trying to do a really bigger album, kind of get like the Nip or the Russ or somebody where you're just trying to get one album. The clips with Sony last year, was that Sony? Was that Sony?
Yeah.
Was that Sony?
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
So
Clips was came to Roc Nation.
Rock Nation, yeah. So maybe he saw like people been saying, maybe he saw the same deal and thought it would be beneficial for him. But I don't know. I just think when you have that type of power in your hands, you really building something for you to relinquish any of it to me. Just on paper, it didn't sound right at first. But I mean, if it's just distribution, Russ did it, Nipsey did it, and it makes sense. You're getting different eyes on it. So
I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and we was talking about money and being an adult and being like financially responsible and all that. And I was asking my friend, I'm like, why why did all of the lessons that people told me about I have to go learn in real life as opposed to just listening to people, right?
hmm
Cause I was almost for a day I was like kicking myself where I was like, bro, like I obviously, there were things out of my control, but there were things that I definitely contributed to financially where it was like, I probably could have done this better. And people have been telling me as a child, as a young adult, this is how you're supposed to do XYZ. And you still go and do whatever. You still go do what you want. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, why do it feel like I have to go learn these lessons in real life and I just couldn't listen? And, Africans speak in proverbs. They don't speak in regular tongues. But she was just like, life has to be lived. It was just so like the way she framed it was like, bro, like a lot of stuff you literally just have to go through to learn the lesson because sometimes words just don't really hit you in the same way. Russ Russ when he put out that first album, you know what I'm saying? There's really a wolf. He had his back catalog of 11 albums that became more popular as his albums blew up. You know what I'm saying? As the albums and stuff blew up. But I feel like he then learned like one of the things he used to always say is the he wanted to get on radio, and then he learned that the radio could tell Sony no. He's like, if they could tell them no, why am I giving them 20% to do something? I could just go hire the guy to go talk to them and get told no, you
Yeah,
know? And I think LaRussell looked at the blueprint, put the blueprint on steroids, and then he said, and then he found a deal. But I feel like at a certain point, people are gonna understand like when you go sign a deal with somebody like an agency or a label, they're gonna provide you with a suite of services or they're gonna provide you networking opportunities that you potentially didn't have prior. If you follow Russell on Instagram, bro been dapping everybody up. He's dapped everybody up. I didn't seen him dap up Ti, Funny Marco. I didn't seen him dap everybody up. I don't know if he would have got those daps without Roc Nation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how this potentially. I think potentially the introductions may get him more features, different types of producers, different types of music that may propel him in a certain way. But I think knowing him, it's going to result in the same thing, bro. Like certain people, I feel like what happens because life is so like unstable and it's such like this, people like us, bro, you get into these points where it's like it may not be flowing the way you think, and then you may go to more traditional routes. You get into the traditional route and you remember you were never built for the traditional route. It's like when you're sitting at the desk at your job, you're like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm not supposed to be here though. You know that feeling? I'm not supposed to be here. I feel like he's gonna have that and he's just gonna go back independent. You know what I'm saying? I think the way people are making it look, oh, he copped out. Bro, that's real. People that never bought the album talking about my deal. People that never made an album talking about my deal. Bro, get into it. You know what I'm saying? I seen him dap up Ti. I'm like, bro, if I gotta sign a little distribution deal to dap up Ti, I might just.
no, I like I said, I understand it. Like he there is a some level of you can get a lot farther when you have help, but I think it's just like it was cool to see him on that grind. I think like people have said, like the journey is everything. So seeing the journey was really cool. To now see him be at a label, it's like what is that gonna look like? But at the same time, like you said, it's distribution. It's not as much so. Um, like it's not as much like them doing everything, him signing his rights away and stuff.
All right, let's get into song recs because this has been a longer episode than anticipated. But it was a good I like today. I'm gonna go first this time, if that's cool with you.
Go ahead.
Yo, on my laid back depressed, y'all.
Yo, what
On
the
my
fuck is wrong with you?
on my laid back depressed, y'all. I'm about to read y'all some of his lyrics real quick. Um, bro, wait. I'm about to read y'all some of Omalé's lyrics. He just put out a song, "Don't Love Me," and let me give y'all some events that have happened over the last year or so. I would say last 2 years. A little while ago, he got new management. Omale.
Mhm.
Thames's manager was then Omale's manager. He puts out one song. A couple months go by. The manager comes out on his Instagram story and says, "Hey, I am no longer managing Omale. I'm not. Peace and blessings." Right?
bogus.
I think and this is me reading into people, you know what I'm saying? And this is me doing this for a comedic effect. Some people just don't some people are just chaotic by nature and don't want to be saved, bro. Um, I think Omale is one of those people where I relate to him in a way because you just be making stuff up in your own head and you make life harder on yourself than it needs to be, right? The reason we haven't gotten the Omale project in so long, he claims that an artist came in, heard his album, made the same concept album, and he had to go scrap everything, right? Do you know who this artist was supposed to be, and do you know which album it was supposed to be?
Um, no, I feel like this is gonna be funny.
So he says he made a version of Heist by Rema.
I was just gonna say
And
that
Rema
shit.
came in and heard it. And then he was like, I gotta go scrap it, gotta go make something new. And when I heard I've been moving, he put out a couple singles around that time. That
Mhm.
sound, that little era let me know. Okay, he was feeling like, you know what I'm saying? He was feeling like he was trying to get faster with it essentially. But he just put a song out that let me know he back depressed. And so letting me know he back depressed, let me know stuff is not going right. He about to put out some heat. He put out a song called Don't Love Me. And the chorus is just him crooning, Don't love me. Don't love me, don't love me. And then there was a part in here where I was like, oh, I know he messed up right now, bro. Where is it?
You're bogus.
I'm just saying I was listening to it and like, bro, that first album, my sad boy albums are November by Sir and Boy Alone by Omale. When I'm super sad boy, them two albums I just love those albums. I'm not gonna find the
No, I
lyrics.
feel
I
you.
can't
That
find it
that
right
Oh
here.
My Lad project was crazy.
Yes, but the chorus is just don't love me, don't love me, don't love me, don't love me, please don't love me, 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 no, don't love me. He's back. So I say, yo, if you're trying to be depressed this year, bro, go listen to "Don't Love Me" by Omale. That's my first song. My
Okay.
second song, um, I'm gonna say "Miami" by Tokisha. No, I scrapped that. Bugaboo, Destiny's Child. Bugaboo, Destiny's Child. I've been heavy on Destiny's Child recently. I've been heavy in my R&B bag, heavy in my Loverboy bag. You know what I'm saying? Go listen to Bugaboo by Destiny's Child and "Don't Love Me" by Omale.
My two for the week, guys. Guys, I got some bangers for you. I got some heat. Can't even lie. Okay, Don Tolliver. You know that
Oh yeah,
nigga
we didn't talk about
really
that. Can we talk about that next week?
keeps
Do your
after
thing,
it.
but we gotta talk
Don,
about that next week.
yeah, yeah, we'll talk about that next week. But call back Don Tolliver. I won't say too much. He's madly in love with Callie Uchis, and I get it. She bad. And then we got number two for me this week. We gonna go Fina, Bad Bunny, Young Miko. I don't know what it is. Young Miko feature. I had to go back and listen to Gato with her and Central C that. If I knew the words, I'd be good. I'd be there. But those are my two. Fina, Bad Bunny, Young
Yeah,
Miko, and
go listen to
then
the
we
song. It
got, like
didn't
I
sound like
said,
that.
call back on Tolliver. It did not. It did not.
Oh,
It definitely did. This has been another real Rhythm and Rhymes episode. I'm glad y'all tuned in with us this week. Make sure you go check out the YouTube to check out some new DJ sets. Leave in the comments what DJ sets you want to hear and tell us your favorite Super Bowl performance in the past 10 years. Lock in, get to work, have a great week.